Well, here we are. It's what day is it today? The 8th of June, and we're back on the Range Rover yet again. I'll give you some bits of an update, and I'm going to admit I was wrong, but I got a bit sidetracked while I was thinking I was wrong, because I couldn't get the Nanocom to talk to ECUs. It said it was unlocked, and I know a lot of you have come with suggestions about putting the numbers in and things like this, but I'll come to that in a minute. So I was under the impression that the Disco with the emulator chip in should work, but apparently, according to Nanocom, they said no, it only works with a P38. So naturally I bought a P38 GEMS ECU for like $47 or 35 quid. Wasn't all that expensive, and I still couldn't get into it. So I'm a bit foxed. So yesterday I was messing about, and then I had a bright idea of having a look at the instructions for Nanocom, and it's really bizarre. Now I paid for the unlock code, and I gave it to my friend Jeremy. Paid for it and put it in before he sent it to me, but there was one fundamental thing that we didn't know, and I'm going to explain to you now, because it's actually all the information you need to know is in the manual, page 8 and 9. Alright, it's not very clear at all. Well, it is clear once you get to it, but let me explain. Here we can see a picture of the codes here. You can see that bit? I'm in the sunlight a bit, I can't see. Let me move around here a bit, if that's any better. Alright, that's a bit better. So, on the screen it comes in a place where you put your unlock codes. Now, Jeremy's got a TD5, and he's got two units. He's got the TD5 engine management and then the Wabco 10AS alarm and bits and pieces on the second one. So he put in this one and this one, and it worked, no problems. But when he put in the GEMS system for the P38, he thought, as well as I did, you put it on the third line. No, you don't put it on the third line. If you look here, it says code 6. So you put it on the 6th line. As you can see there's only 5 boxes. You hit the scroll, it goes onto another screen, and then you've got some more options to put codes in. Put the code in, put it right, and then you have to go down. It says on the page 9, just bear with me, it says then you have to scroll right down to the bottom of the list where you put the codes in, and then click save unlock code. That's still not it, because you can't just press OK. You have to reboot the Nanocom, and then it works. So we've got into it, and just as I got into it, it poured down yesterday. So I'm sort of a little bit frustrated, but we're into it. Now, to make it a little bit simpler, because I was a bit confused about these GEMS systems, because Nanocom said, oh, Discovery one won't work. Well, I got in touch with Simon, who made the emulator chip, and he's a kind of a nice chap to get into touch with, because he put me on the right track. He says, I don't know, he says he uses it for P38s and Disco ones and stuff like that. He said never really had a problem with it. So I bought that box for nothing really. Anyway, as we were chatting, I went onto his website and looked at the procedure for putting the code to unlock the Nanocom. I'll write down the descriptions below of his website and his services. Do you know something? If I'd have known the services he did, because we bought the emulator off eBay UK, that's where he had them, but I never knew he had a website doing all the bits and pieces for ECUs. And he'll unlock an ECU for 100 quid. That's all we wanted. I could have sent him 3. I might even just do that, send him some, just in case, so they've got a spare one in the boot, just in case this goes wrong. So anyway, where was I? So now it's Sunday morning. I've just been helping Jack do some sandblasting and painting of his bumpers. I want to get back onto this P30, I call it bloody P38 now, onto this Range Rover. And the first thing I did this morning, because I'm going to go in for some dinner now because I'm starving, but the first thing I did this morning was check the fuel pump is working. That's the only way I can tell from under the bonnet that this is unlocked, alright, because the lock shuts off the fuel and I think it shuts off the power to the injectors. Now, going off Simon's website, I played it back. I must have watched it about 10 times, and I wrote down here a list of steps you have to do and things to check, step by step, so that you can get this unlocked, but with using the emulator. It seems to be that you have to keep rebooting the ECU, the GEMS ECU. I know it sounds technical, believe me. I mean, I'll never use this bloody information again in my life, but it might be handy for you to know. But you have to keep rebooting the chip inside so it can learn a code to put back into the ECU. Now, down here, I noticed on Simon's site, he was booting up the ECU, so he had the nanocom and he was plugged into OBD2, but he had another cable to go into the nanocom here, so it's permanently feeding 12 volts. So I've got that on a couple of crocodile clips. I made a little cable so this can be on all the time whilst we're programming the GEMS. The reason for that is, I know it's a bit of a ramble, we've got to keep rebooting the GEMS system, but when we do that we have to restart this, and that's a bit of a pain going through all the steps to get into this. So by keeping this live and rebooting that one, hopefully we should be able to get this reading and functioning. Now, like I said, oh, there goes my bloody papers. Now it's windy. I have checked the fuel pump and the fuel pump does work. So before starting it, if I turn the ignition on and I press the little Schrader valve on top of the fuel rail, if we get fuel, I know it's going to start. Are you excited? I am. Tune back next week for next week's exciting episode. Now I'm going to get a bite to eat and then I'm going to come back to this. Back in a bit.